Hey guys, this is Lisa Tedder, also known as Tedder Bear Stamping, and today I'm going to show you how to make this card, and it's a really fun technique, and when I did it in class they all just absolutely loved it. None of these cards will ever look the same, so each one is totally unique. If you don't have a demonstrator in your area and you live in the United States, I would love to be one. I have each month a new set of tutorials that I can send you if you place a purchase on my site. And there's at least 40 tutorials every month. So let me know if I can help you out. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to go ahead and use watercolor paper and the Good Morning Magnolia, and I'm going to use my embossing buddy to get off any kind of stuff on there that will make it staticky. That's what I'm looking for. Alright, so, and I really like to be liberal with my embossing buddy because I don't want anything to stick. So I always pat it instead of rub it. Alright, we're going to be using Versamark and then gold embossing powder. We'll be cutting this out so it doesn't have to be directly in the middle, but I'm going to stamp it in the middle. Alright, let's see if I can do this without making a mess. A little bit down here and I'm good to go. None on my paper, so that's good. Alright, so I'm going to heat set this, and I'll speed it up, but you can watch how it changes. Now there is a couple spots that I missed with the embossing powder. You can always go in there with one of your blender pens and pick up Versamark and go back over it. I'm not going to do that right now. Alright, so then you're going to need an aqua painter, and I have it right here. And I like to use the smaller brush because it just makes it nicer and easier to work with. So I'm going to bring in my little palette here, and I have it all, this is for my class, so I have it all so they don't get confused on which colors are on which thing. So I'm going to do the dark blue, which is DB. This is for my class. I'm not going to use a lot because I don't need a ton. Then the light blue is Seaside Spray. The dark blue, I don't know what I told you, is Blueberry Mist, or Blueberry Bushel. Alright, and then we have the dark green, which is Shaded Spruce. And then the light green, which is Granny Apple. Probably using way more than I need, but for the sake of trying to get this done without having it be too long, I'm going to do it that way. Alright, so you want your paper to be as flat as it can be. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm just going to get water on my brush, and then you're going to puddle, and I mean puddle this. And I'm only going to do half of the flower right now because I don't want it to start oozing into each other. So I'm going to pick up the dark blue, and I'm just going to tap it. Look at how that does. Isn't that the coolest? Alright, so then I'm going to clean off my brush, and I probably should have brought over a paper towel, but I didn't. And I'm going to pick up the light blue and finish putting it in on this side. Pick up a little bit more. When this dries, it's going to be really pretty. Now, let me get a paper towel now that I'm mentioning it. And what you can do is take your little corner and just sop up some of the color, not all of it, because we don't want it to like bleed into the other. Alright, so I'm going to do a little bit more because I have these right here that don't look good because I didn't have enough water. And I'm going to do the dark blue again, just so that I make sure that it's going to be really pretty. Oh, isn't that pretty? I love it. Alright, so I'm going to clean this off onto my paper towel and get the other half of the flower. Now I'm going to zoom or go fast on this part because you've already seen me do it once, but you can see how it just spreads. And I'm leaving the middle clear because I want it to be where I can do yellow. Okay, so moving on to the leaves, I'm going to go ahead and puddle again. And I'm going to start with the light green this time so that I can add the dark where I want it. Now I'm going to add a little bit more water and then come in with the dark green. Whoops, that was dark blue. Alright, dark green right here. And I just want it along the middle of the stem. Okay, I'm going to clean it off and go to the next one. I didn't quite clean it up all the way, but it's going to be green anyway, so it's not a big deal. Dark green. Okay, I'm going to let that puddle for a little bit and move on to the last two. And then add my dark green, just in little bits. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up some of the color that I left, just so that when I heat set it, it doesn't go all over the place. Alright, so now I'm going to dry this up, and I'll speed this up too. Okay, so now before you move on, you're going to touch up any spots that you don't quite like how it is. And I want a little bit more dark blue in here, so I'm going to go ahead and puddle this again. And I'm not going to fill up the whole flower, just part of it, so because I only want it in there. So I'm going to do dark blue, because I really want it to be pretty. There, that's better. Okay, so now I am going to cut this out with the die. And it doesn't matter that it went over. I mean, it's not going to look perfect like my other one because I went over it. But it's watercolor. Watercolor is supposed to go outside of the lines. Let me find my tape. Hold on one second. This is why I dry it, so that it will hold on. The tape will stay where I put it, or the die will stay where I put it. Okay. I'm going to put this on upside down. I know you don't get to see the whole thing, but this is what keeps my plate from getting bad. So there we have flour all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and color the inside with the dark Daffodil Delight, because I really want it to stand out. And then I'm going to color the stem, the light, soft suede. All right. Then we're going to go over the flower with Wink of Stella, but I'll do that in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on this. And I'm going to set it aside for now because I'm going to do the rest of the card. So we are going to start off with a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of blueberry bushel. And I want to make sure that it's straight. All right, then we're going to have a piece of white that is 5 1/4 by 4. Not sure if you can hear this, but my cat is trying to get in here. He's clawing at the door. All right, then I have a piece of black that is, let me see what I've made it as, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And why I turn it over, I don't know. I like layering. I'm not sure if you've noticed that, but I like layering. All right, and then this cardstock, or DSP, okay, then I'm going to stick this on. Once you put the Wink of Stella on, it really pops. All right, so I'm going to use the smallest oval that we have, and I'm going to cut out an oval, which I already have. And I'm going to stamp Hello, which is from the same stamp set, in Blueberry Bushel. Normally I would stamp that first and then cut it out, but that worked out pretty good. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this corner so it will hold, and then one dimensional for the other side. Since it's already raised, you don't need to do. And I am going to cover this little spot that I don't like so much. This one right here. It just looks blotchy. So I'm going to do that. All right, and then come in with my rhinestones. And this is the Noble Peacock, because that's what we're using in the DSP, is the Noble Peacock. And I cannot, let's see. Hold on, I'll be right back. Well, I'll just use my fingers. What do you think about that? Normally I would use something else. My pick a tool. Alright, so there's that. Now for the inside, I like to layer again. And I'll just show it to you so we don't take up too much time. But I like to have the black and then the white. And then I did the leaves in gold. And Enjoy Today, which is from the same stamp set. And then here you can kind of hopefully see the Wink of Stella. I love this card, and every single one is going to be a little bit different. So give it a try and let me see what you make. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks.